Hello. How's everybody doing? You all seem very relaxed and happy. Must admit it's surprising, because you're in this amazing stage of life where you have to pick a career. Your friends and family are kind of cheering you up, but mostly asking questions. What are you going to study for the next 3, 5, or 8 years? How do you intend to make a living and a life for the next 30 to 40 years? No pressure at all in these questions, right? What do you want to be when you grow up? Pretty sure the answer to that question was obvious when you were 8 years old. And today you're thinking, where did that brave 8-year-old kid go? Can he or she come back? I remember being deeply terrified of picking one thing for the rest of my life. If, as an 8-year-old, I wanted to be a rocket scientist, how would I know at the age of 18 what I will want to be when I am 28, and so on? So in an attempt to reduce my stress, I did what most panicked people do. I started asking questions to everyone, everywhere. I was a pain. Questions, questions, questions. So this made me realize I was making a mistake, which was I was not asking the right people for advice. My immediate go-to people for advice were, for like most of you, my parents and my school's guidance counselor. My parents, pretty chilled out people, said, "Oh, sweetie, it really doesn't matter what you study. You're not going to be working in this field anyway. But you need a diploma, because diploma equals job." Well, I have two things to say about that statement. First, diploma equals job might have been very true in their times. Not sure the equation is that easy today. And second, how do you mean I will wisely pick something and dedicate my 5 years of studying to it and then not work a single day in it in my life? That idea was weird to me. So then I was left with my school's guidance counselor. So I went to her office, and after a detailed personality test, turns out that my destiny would be, drumrolls, to be a violin maker in the middle of an uninhabited region of France. Imagine my face in that office when I knew this would be my destiny. So there I was. The three people I thought would give me the best advice gave me no clue whatsoever on what to do in life. So I had to actually reach out to people who work in the fields I was interested in. I started speaking to journalists, translators, PR specialists, and came to a conclusion as well. All these people that I was talking to were in their 40s or 50s. And while there's a lot of good insights to get from people with experience, I wasn't sure their advice was very true for the present. When you want to know how the food is at a restaurant, you go and ask someone who was there yesterday, not someone who was there 20 years ago, right? Doesn't make sense any other way. So if you really want to know what studying is like in a university and what your job will be like, go and ask someone who is there right now, at the moment, or who just left. And ask them smart questions, or even stupid questions, because there's no such thing as asking a stupid question, right? Ask them, what does it take to get in this university? How much do you have to work, and how much homework do you have to do? Do you have to work in teams? Do you have to work solo? Is the field hiring today? Ask them all these questions. So now, you're all dying to know what I decided to study, right? But that's not the most important question. The most important thing is how I decided to study what I study. So having no clue, I said, okay, I have two requirements, really. The first one, I want something that will allow me to continue cultivating the diversity of my interests. And second, something that would give me enough free time to pursue my other career, dance. So putting these two together, I answered the question, how do I want to live for the next 3 to 5 years? And there was my answer. I decided to study business and languages. And for me, this felt like picking the right thing. And in the process of picking the right thing, I believe many people do something the other way around, which is we let our career define our lifestyle, and we forget the importance of our own personality. You pick a career that ends up shaping your lifestyle, meaning how many hours you work, how involved you are in your job, what does this work mean to you, how much money you make, and how you live. And you forget about how you want to live. What you want to do that you're so focused on can change a few times in your lifetime. Why don't we start answering the questions, how do I want to live? And who am I? Your personality will give you so many answers as to what it is that you're made to do. You can dream about becoming something that is not made for you. I have met many dancers, as much as they love the art form, could not take the uncertainty that comes with the lifestyle. I have met business students that were so shy they could not introduce themselves with confidence to someone they don't know. How are you going to sell stuff and sell yourself to people you don't know every day if you can't even say, hi, my name is? So you can be pretty good at everything, but it doesn't mean it is all made for you. And as you go and investigate yourself and people, you might find out something interesting, which is some people have jobs or took career paths that you didn't even know could exist. We forget about the road less traveled. And what does that mean? I'm sure some of you already went through a major job-seeking platform. And if you didn't, I encourage you to do so. The first time I did, I was pretty concerned. What could possibly a supply chain manager be doing? Oh, hi, I'm a supply chain manager. What do you do from 9 to 5? And then I typed in the word sales, because that was the field I was interested in. And at least 5 job descriptions were pretty much the same with 5 different titles. Account manager, client portfolio manager, business developer, representative. I was like, why is there 5 titles for a job that's pretty much the same? Confusing. So I was pretty panicked, to be honest. And now I would like you all to think for a second how many jobs there is that you don't know exist or that you don't understand. Think for another second. How many people there is that work 1, 2, 3 jobs at a time, that switch careers from accounting to graphic design, or the other way around, that create their own jobs, that create their own companies, and that work in things you didn't expect people could work in. That's a lot of people. I think the trouble we have is with the word career. Most of the time when you think career, what do you think? Study 5 years in this field. I picked my field. I become the best in it. I start working in it. I eventually switch companies, but God forbid I switch jobs, because this is my career. I think we should find, and you should find, your own definition of the word career. To me, a career would be anything you actively, productively decide to do, anything you dedicate yourself to. Imagine, what if you started thinking of a career as the overall range of experiences you can have in your life, professionally? You can start your career in advertisement. 10 years later, decide you want to be an accountant. And a decade later, say, oh, well, actually, I want to start my pastry business. And all of this will get you ready and prepared for life as we know it, which is your plans versus reality. You will develop your adaptability skills by having such a lifestyle. And you might not be ready to take the leap today, because it's a scary one, must admit. I don't ever think we feel ready, though. We just have to do it. But the day you feel that itch of creativity, that wish to seek for something different, that wish to explore, if you have a passion, investigate it, find people who make money out of it, ask them how they do it, and make it happen. Be curious, be brave, be bold, try it, even if you're not ready today. And if you don't know or can't find a path for you today, just create one. Easy, right? As you do so, just remember, any career is as valuable as another. And every experience can teach us something, if only we let it. And this, my friends, is another mistake we tend to do. We have too much ego. So picture me after graduation. Actually, I'm going to make this easier for you because I brought a picture. As you can see, I'm convinced I am exactly where I need to be and know where I am going. So I have a master's degree in my pocket. I speak 4 languages. My main interests revolve around art and creative work. My favorite subject at the university is marketing. And I'm looking for a job, which, as for all young graduates today, means convincing someone that you know very well how to do what you learned in the books, but they need you to do in real life. Not sure I would hire a chef that only knows his recipes but never practiced them. So I was there with all my expectations and ego, was going through job ads and couldn't really put my finger on anything that was as sparkly and glamorous as I wanted to do. I wanted to brag about my job to my friends. Oh, hey, have you seen this ad on TV? Yeah, that's me. Well, going through all these ads, I still had no clue. But one day I bumped into this one. Looking for a business developer for a wastewater treatment company based in Montreal, Canada. Glamorous. Very glamorous. So as you can see, at first, nothing really creative. And honestly, the only word that caught my attention there was Canada. I love to travel. But I was like, okay, let's take a chance. Let's give it a chance. Let's just do it. So I put my ego and expectations aside. I could still brag about a trip to Canada to my friends, so that was fine to me. And I decided to go for it. And the minute I did there, a few months later, I was there in Canada, learning much more than I have ever expected to learn in a job. I actually learned my job working there. And it was the most rich experience of my life, professionally. So there are things I realized right after studying that I would like to share with you. One thing is, a diploma is just an authorization to knock on certain doors, but it does not grant you any opening. Then, putting my ego and expectations aside was the best thing I could do, and it took me places where I didn't know I could go. And last but not least, for a lot of jobs, you will learn your job on the job. But then, in this difficult process of getting an interview, getting a job, etc., there's one key thing that can differentiate you from every other person, and it is everything you do that has nothing to do with school. So this mistake we tend all to make is to put more effort in studying for our career than in self-development. Why is that important? There's an ocean of graduates every year. Why would I hire you and not you? Your grades are better? Okay. Reputation of your school is better? Okay. But I guarantee you, if just like the interviewer, you love rock climbing and you took a calligraphy course, nothing will beat the sympathy you'll have awakened. So I urge you to pursue your own personal studies. And in that matter, you should be a student forever. Read books, research artists, read biographies, play an instrument, sign up for a soccer team. Nothing will teach you teamwork, consistency, dealing with other people's feelings and egos, and trust you will have to do so at work more than a basketball game can do. So this is why it is so important to develop all these personal skills and to pursue your own personal studies. We do so much to fit in. What do we do to stand out? Find what it is, push it, work on it, and be someone who stands out. Now there's one very last thing that I would like you all to think about and to take home with you. Not everyone is an artist or a creative entrepreneur, but everybody should think like it in their jobs. And here is why. If you choose to settle for average and stop adding nutrients to your job, fresh information and energy, it might end up being boring, no matter how awesome it was at first. It is our responsibility to consider our jobs as our crafts and to nourish them, feed them, give new information, dedicate ourselves to them. It is our responsibility to be proactive elements in our jobs, companies, relationships, and lives. And it is our responsibility to bring happiness to the places we go to. Thank you very much.